Okay, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to make a scene that looks a little bit like this. So you can see that I've got an overlay that I have used, and I've got a couple of sources which I've used as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just have a quick run through about how to set one up and how you can use Canva to bring in a transparent image that you've created as an overlay. You can then create one of the scenes. This is the design that I did in Canva. And we're going to hop over to the iPad. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I even tried to do an overlay for the iPad. So here's the original iPad and here's an overlay that I put. But as you can see, it kind of grays out the actual iPad image. So I don't know what I've done there, but I've obviously got to go back to the drawing board and have a quick tweak of that. But certainly if you want to have a go, or indeed let me know in the comments, then I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with that. So let's just go to the main iPad here then. So I've just got an iPad with two sources that I've just got here. You can see top down and side view. You'll see that when you add an asset, you'll see you've got this new menu down here called Scene Builder, and you can see it's new because it says new just over on the right. So we're going to select there then. You've got two options then. You can either full screen scene or create an overlay screen. Full screen scene, that allows you to bring in videos, and if you are doing an overlay scene, you can just combine text and images. So obviously you've got a still image here with some text over the top. And also with full screen scene, this allows you to have video scenes as well as text and other images as well. So we're going to choose full screen scene. So then you can see in this menu, you've got the creating option. So you've got the option to create a new layer here. You've got the option to add in a background, which could be another image. You get the choice here when you select background. You can then choose an image that you can put in, or you can just make it a background color. So if you want to be able to just have a certain theme, so for example, if you didn't want black, you can maybe choose other colors here as well. I might even have just dark blue because that's kind of my vibe with this particular work that I'm doing. Tap back. So let's go and add a new layer, and you'll see that when we select it, you'll be able to see that we have the image, text and source options here. So let's first of all add in the source. Okay, I'm going to have two sources in my overlay here. And you can see we've got A and B. Now before you wonder why can't I move any of these around, because you have to select them first. You then have the option when you can see you can use these little hamburger signs and drag source A above and below source B. So you can just tap and then drag, then it reorders them. Or if you want to go back to A and then B, and you can see it just switches them round. But then you can see then we've got to edit these. So we're going to tap into source B. And then you've got the option to change its aspect ratio. So if you're using, for example, a full screen video, but you only want to portion some of it off, you can have the option to do, vertical video. But bearing in mind, you'd still be in a horizontal view within that particular source. But then you can also do square, square here, you can do all sorts here. So you've got different options depending on what you want, but I'm just going to keep them 16 by 9 for one of them, and then I'm going to do 9 by 16 for another one. You're going to see why. Okay, as we scroll down then, you can see then we've got the transparency options. How transparent do you want that to be against the background? And then the next option is the rounding, the radius of the corner. So the higher that is, the more rounded it is, the least it is, the squarer it is. So we're just slightly round these off, just to match almost like a mobile phone screen. And we can then rotate this round. Very cool indeed. So if you had a view that was particularly, you wanted to have a view side on, then you could do that too. And we can maybe experiment with that. Dimensions, just another word for the size, so we can resize it. You can also pinch and zoom as well. But actually, something quite nice about having the granular scale there. We're just going to drag that over to one side. And we can then see you could also got the choice of using the X and Y axes just as I've done, or you can just tap and drag it if you want to as well. You can also delete the layer if you think it's not gone too well and you want to be able to get rid of it. So let's go into layer source A now. Again, we get the same options. Do we want the aspect ratio? Yes, we do. Now you can see here transparency, I want it to be full transparent, but obviously you might want to build in a scene where you want the video to be slightly overlaid by the color in the background, as if you were saying, going live soon, and where you want to see people showing you what you're doing in the meantime. Same options as before then, and in dimension I'm just going to increase a little bit more and then drag it just over to the left, just make that a little bit smaller. So we've now got an A scene and a B scene, and what I can maybe do is I can maybe drag it up, and just like the other one, I could probably round its corners just a little bit for continuity. And you've got some space underneath for text and other such things. If you want to do those, we can add those shortly. So the next thing is we need to tell Switcher what those sources are. And if you tap back then, you know then that we're going to need to tell Switcher where to put that slot assignment. So we're going to change it from select each time to pre-select because I want it to choose the specific two options I've got here. And you can see here that I have got for A, I'm going to do top down view, and for slot B, I am going to do this side view. Because I don't want it to show you the whole of the studio, I'm just going to show you the top down view and the side view. So once those are done, the next thing you have to do then is to tap back. If you want to add in text, which I think we can probably do here, we can maybe add a new layer, and then we can add in text. And then we can tap done. And you can see that when we tap done, we've got here a very nice piece of text. Again, as you scroll down, you can change its color. I'm just going to keep the same color because it looks quite nice. And then we can just shrink this down and then we can just drag it to where we want it to be. You can add in logos and all sorts. So if you wanted to add in a logo, which we can do, so we tap back and then we go to a new layer, add an image this time, Switcher Cloud, because we've got some images stored in there. Let's hope the one I want is in here, and it is. There we go, we can drag that to one side. Now, just for ease, and I'm just going to resize that with dimension again, and then we're just going to drag it to where we need it to be. Might make that a little bit smaller. And that looks good for a basic example there. Now you can see every time you've got a new layer, it grays out everything else on your screen. Just makes it easier to see the thing that you're working with. And if you want to replace the image, if you think you've got the wrong one, that's the option here. So you click back. And once you're happy with everything, you can see it all comes springing back to life. You can see what we're doing. And then we tap create. Okay, now you can see that once we have done that, we have decided to put it in main, and then now you can also add in, amazingly, some text and graphical overlays. We've got a template which I loaded up into Canva, and you can see then I've just added in some of my own colors. I've retitled it, and you can see there's different areas here for cameras. Now obviously we want it to be able to overlay onto the scene, so we need to make sure that those camera slots are cut out as transparent. And in Canva, it's easy to do this if you don't know what you're doing. You just tap share, and when you download your design, you just click that transparent background option. If you've got the pro option, of course, in Canva. I don't think it works on the free option, but at the time of recording, I could be wrong. So we're just going to add in a couple of items of text in, and let's make it just a subheading. And we're just going to add in my handle here. And then we're just going to click and drag down to this first box here. Now, at the moment, you cannot add in animated options because that would require you to import movies. And at the time of recording, there is no movie overlay that could be looped that's brought into Switcher. But maybe in time, they might allow some short, maybe 5-second, 10-second clips that could be an animated overlay that could be brought in here as well. I'm just putting in my social handles. Lovely. So I'm just going to file and save it. When I found this, it was actually called Neon Modern Gaming Twitch Overlay. Make sure you've downloaded it, and it says that you've downloaded it as a PNG and it's got a transparent background. And then once you do that, you just tap download. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to go over to Switcher Cloud. We're going to go over to Cloud Assets. And then we're going to select that particular file. And I want it to be an overlay. I want it to maintain its transparent background here. And then we're going to go upload. Then back into Switcher, we're going to tap on the add asset option, scene. And I'm going to do the same again. And I'm going to do new layer. And I'm going to do image. And I'm going to do Switcher Cloud. Neon, here we go. Zoom that to full size. Then we're going to go back. And then we're going to add in new layer, source. We're going to have two sources. We're going to go to source A. We're going to make source A a little bit larger. This is where the magic comes in. Go back. Source B. We're going to make this slightly different aspect ratio. We're going to go 4:3 this time, so it can fit into this other box here. Resize that till it fits in. And then here's the magic. So obviously we need to tap back, but then we need to put our image above. So in other words, in front of, you can see at the top, the text has been chopped up by the source. So we need to go that way. hey presto, it puts it behind. Now I might even want to resize it again just to make it slightly larger still. We can do that. And you can see it's sort of grayed out and we can, yeah, we're definitely there now. So we can go back. Then we need to tell Switcher what those slot assignments are. So then we can do pre-select as we did before. Slot A, I want it to be the overhead. And then slot B, I want it to be the side view. Now obviously that's a slightly different view to before, but it's fine, it works. And then if I wanted to do a third view, then I could do. But at the moment I've only got 2 here, so that's all we need. So we can create, we're ready to add in. So you've gone from an image, which is transparent, and you probably could do a multi-view with this, but then you would lose the text. But the fact you've got a transparent image, you can then overlay on top of your 2 sources. There are so many different options that you could do with this. So obviously I've got this one that I have just made, which I've done a tweaked version of. I've got this one here, which was quite simple, which I've just taken another transparent overlay and I've just kind of overlaid it. It's a little bit messier because it clashes with the back here. If I just take this one off, and then I can do this one, I can just do an overlay like this where it's just got my logo and my name. So I've just had a little quick go of experimenting, and of course similarly to what we had done before, although I don't have a second scene on this one. And of course you can transition between all of these. As you can see, the transition I had done was quite nice between this one and this one. I put a nice stinger transition there. So really the potential is phenomenal what you can do, and I'm only just getting started with this. I've only really spent about half an hour to an hour with this. So do have a look and have a go and have a lot of fun creating overlays. And if you're wondering what the app is that I've used to not only to record this video, to edit this video, but also to showcase the overlay creation, the scene creation, it's called Switcher. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to it in the description down below. There is also an opportunity for you to get that at joinswitcher.com. Do check out, there's lots of pricing options there for you and you'll have a lot of fun with it. I know I certainly do. I create all my content with it. You can even record, live stream, and everything that you do, it will automatically be transcribed for you. You can then repurpose it into full size, short form, vertical video, you name it, you can do it. You can even multi-stream as well. So check out that link at joinswitcher.com, also linked in the description, and you'll be able to check out and have a bit of fun with that yourself as well. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please tap the like button. And of course, if you are new here, to hit subscribe, where I've got lots more content coming and indeed some amazing courses over at ewansmithmusic.com. And do check those out. You'll be able to learn how to make your music masterpiece and also create amazing, profitable video using your mobile. So thanks very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.